So a few weeks back, I was at a wedding in upstate New York, and on the bus ride back to the hotel, some of the more, let's say, lively guests were engaged in the age-old debate of which superhero they would rather be, Batman or Superman. Now, I didn't partake in this debate, mostly because I was tired, and mostly because I didn't feel like getting into all the minute details with a bunch of drunk people. And what I came to realize is that, well, sure, it may be more fun to be one superhero. In the end, it might not really be worth it. Let's take a look. Before we dive in, let me just make it clear that this is not representative of whether or not I like a certain hero. This is just whether or not I would want to be a certain hero. And some heroes I certainly don't want to be no matter what. So let's begin with answering that debate. Which would I rather be? Batman or Superman? Now the answer that was given on the bus with a lot of gusto, and what I'm sure all of you are thinking right now, is Batman, obviously. He's rich, he's smart, he always wins. Plus, Superman's kind of boring and lame. And yeah, on the surface, Batman's the clear answer, but once you start digging a little deeper, it becomes much less appealing. First of all, he is sad and lonely all the damn time. He has no real human connection with anybody except for Alfred. Even the people he actively fights crime with, like Gordon or his sidekicks, he's completely distant from. And sure, he may score a lot of good-looking women, but really, he's mostly spending his time in the cave brooding or out in the street beating up poor people. Batman does not enjoy being Batman. It's a job to him. He feels obligated to do something that he doesn't think anybody else can or will do. And what's the point of being a rich superhero if you can't enjoy it? Now, Superman may seem like a boring loser and a dumb pick, but he's really not. Now, first of all, I don't have the time to go into why Superman doesn't suck. I will definitely do a video on that sometime down the road. But trust me when I say he does not suck. And second of all, who wouldn't want to be super fast, super strong, have the ability to fly and shoot lasers out of their face? Okay, yeah, he seems overpowered, but when you're fighting evil, wouldn't you want to be overpowered? Plus, he's got a great private life with friends and family that he actually enjoys being around, and they enjoy being around him. He was happily married to Lois Lane, and yeah, while that might have been erased with the New 52, they will always be together, no matter how much DC tries not to make that happen. And okay, he may not be Batman rich, but you know what? He's a successful reporter for a major metropolitan newspaper and has an apartment in a major metropolitan city. So that's got to be saying something. Now, aside from being those two, the thought of being Iron Man or Spider-Man both came up. Now, I'm willing to bet that when Iron Man was brought up, they were referring to movie Iron Man and not comic book Iron Man. And yeah, being movie Iron Man seems like a lot of fun. But again, that's movie Iron Man. Comic book Iron Man is a recovering alcoholic who's very selfish and was willing to manipulate and sell out his own friends in order to get the Superhuman Registration Act passed. Oh, and spoiler alert for Captain America Civil War, the Superhuman Registration Act leads directly to the death of Tony Stark's best friend, Steve Rogers, so take that for what you will. And honestly, the closest I've ever seen to comic book Iron Man being like movie Iron Man was in Matt Fraction and Salvador De La Roca's run. That ended back in like 2011, I think, and now he's back to being an asshole in Superior Iron Man. So yeah, it's okay to want to be Iron Man, but movie Iron Man, not comic book Iron Man. As for Spider-Man, I can't think of anybody I'd rather be less than Spider-Man. Nobody goes through more shit than this guy does. Every day something tragic and life-altering happens to him, and he's either moping about it for weeks on end, or he's trying to mask it behind a thin veil of one-liners. Seriously, Spider-Man is like a comedian suffering from depression. He may seem all happy-go-lucky on the surface, but deep down, he's suffering from a lot of pain and guilt that he doesn't know how to deal with. Also, he's poor. You people talk about how you want to be a rich superhero like Batman or Iron Man, and all of a sudden, oh, I want to be Spider-Man. He's completely broke. All the time. So we got the main four out of the way, but who else should you not want to be like? Honestly, with a few exceptions, you shouldn't really want to be like any of the Marvel heroes. Like, take the Hulk. You know how football players will get in trouble for domestic violence in their personal life? Well, imagine that, but this guy is 8 feet tall and a green monster, and his spouse is an entire city. That's what the Hulk does on a regular basis. I wouldn't want to be any of the X-Men either. They are harassed and judged all the time just for being mutants. And chances are, you won't get a sexy mutant power like claws or heat vision. You'll get, beast's powers of being a big kitty. Daredevil, much like Spider-Man, is always having the worst day of his life. Things have been a little bit brighter during the Mark Waid, Chris Samnee era, but still not exactly what I would call fun. I shouldn't have to explain why you don't want to be the Punisher, right? Like, that's a given. I would say it's okay to be Thor or Captain America if you can get over the fact that all your World War II friends are dead. Carol Danvers is also a good pick, but only Captain Marvel era, not Miss Marvel era. Trust me on this. And despite their recent cancellation and the fact that their upcoming movie's probably going to suck, the Fantastic Four is a great pick. Hell, even the Thing, yeah, he's a hideous looking monster, but you know what? He's in control of his life and he's accepted it. So that's something to admire. That's not to say all of DC's heroes are excellent role models, certainly not. Marvel's heroes were designed to have extreme flaws to make them more relatable, but it's those flaws that make them not want to be somebody you would want to emulate. Everybody has some sort of tragedy or complex they're trying to get over, and that's just not very fun. DC's heroes are designed to be more aspirational, actual role models, people who you want to look up to. And while that may make for more boring stories, as the naysayers might say, I would much rather want to emulate somebody who has their life put together rather than somebody who's always depressed or sad or trying to get over something. So yeah, that's why I would want to be Superman. Or The Flash. The Flash is another good example. Even Aquaman, you may think he's lame, but he's the king of 70% of this planet. You piss him off and at any moment your town could be covered in sea and sharks. Of course, Wonder Woman, especially if you're a female who's looking for a role model. Would I want to be Green Lantern? I don't know. I feel like if you want to be Green Lantern, then you also probably want to be a cop when you grow up. Green Lanterns have to spend months or even years away from their home planet doing their job. That can cause a lot of stress on a person. If you're not built for it, then you probably shouldn't be a Green Lantern. What about Martian Manhunter? No, because fire is his weakness and that's a weakness. Also, every time he tries to read somebody's mind, he suffers from Jean Grey headaches, so I don't want that. Wouldn't want to be a member of the Hawk family either. In addition to their increasingly convoluted backstory, they are doomed to just repeat their life over and over again through reincarnation and death. That doesn't seem like it's fun. But when it gets right down to it, what superhero would I want to be the most? Nightwing. Easy. All the badassery of Batman with none of the crippling emotional issues. Also not all the money, but you know what? He lives very comfortably and I can accept that. What about you guys? If you could be any superhero you want, which one would you be and why? Or which one would you not want to be? Let me know down below or anywhere on social media. And as always, like if you like, subscribe if you really like, share this video with your friends. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. So first up in 2016 is of course Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. This is the only film of the whole slate that we have any sort of hard information on. And it's also the film that everything else is riding on.
Have you tried Breach and Clear yet?
I have not tried Breach and Clear.
Breach and Clear sounds like Hitman Go.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the planning from Rainbow Six, and that's it. Mm-hmm.